It's your girl Diamond, and I'm back with my own new review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. Y'all, at the end of this episode, it dawned on me that they honestly have nothing to talk about. And the fact that we are starting off the second half of this season, which technically we're still at the beginning of this season, is just crazy to me. That whole entire backwards, forwards logic, I just can never understand. And Scott's 1.0 and 2.0, y'all don't have no value. Y'all bring no value. Y'all bring nothing for us to be entertained and to be excited for this show because y'all keep on dragging out stupid conversations and stupid issues to create moments that are not really real. Y'all trying to produce the show to make us excited, and then we're not excited because you guys are still deflecting. You guys are still hiding y'all real lives. But let's get into it. We got Trish. Trish meets up with her friend Sharon to discuss what's been going on between her and Ken. That her and Ken did have a bad argument and that he left the house for a couple of days, but he's back home. And she started counseling. We talked about her moment in therapy, and she didn't want to do it because she didn't want to relive the moments that she lost her parents, how emotional she got, and she really hasn't let go of releasing those emotions and feelings. And noticing that it bottles her up and that how she explodes on everybody when she doesn't release those feelings. So Trish believes that it's a weak emotion for her to cry. And that she doesn't like for anyone to see her cry. The only time her children has ever seen her cry was at funerals. And she assumes that her children would think of her as weak if she was to cry. And that's not true. They will see as you're a human. You have emotions and you have the right space to showcase them. Like, I don't know what goes on in Trisha's mind for her to have that rhetoric that is weak to cry. Okay, you can be strong, but you can't be that strong to suck in tears. No. Having a moment to cry is the greatest sign of strength. Because it goes to show you that you care, that you feel things. So she talks about how Dr. Francis told her that crying is a sign of being strong. And her friend said, we've been through that. And that she don't like to get close to people. She said, you know how I knew that? Because we worked out together for a long period of time before I knew anything about you. And I think she's known Sharon for 4 years? So the amount of time you worked out with Sharon, you have never once opened up to anything. You never once talked about anything. That's crazy. She says she likes to keep her distance because she doesn't want to get hurt. So she wants to avoid any pain as much as possible. You can't always foresee that, Trish. People are going to go through pain. People are going to go through loss. But it's how you navigate it. For you to accept it, reevaluate it, learn from it, and then put yourself back out there again. Her friend said we're going to have our days. We're going to have our pain. We're going to have our sorrow. And she did feel good afterwards for releasing that. And it's made her take those steps to reflect on something before reacting to it. And since she has been going through her sessions with Dr. Francis, she has seen progress in her relationship with Ken. There's still a lot of work they need to do. They need to be better at their communication. And the first thing she did was visit her parents' grave. She hasn't visited it since they died. She thought that if she was to go, she was going to be talking to the ground, being angry, but she actually wasn't. She felt comfort. She cried, and it was a good release. And I understand that because when people lose their loved ones, they don't always be ready to go visit them when they pass on. Lots of people are not comfortable with going to grave sites and tombstones. No, 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 no. They have a fear of feeling it like it's real. But when you take that leap, it can feel good. I understand that as well. So hearing Trish be more honest and actually show some depth in her conversations about how she's felt about losing people and how she don't like to be close to people. I don't like her. That didn't make me like her anymore, but it did make me understand how she does have a lot of trauma and that she does need to continue on with therapy to break through those walls. So that was a good moment. I'm not going to hold it against her. Moving on. So now we get into Kimmy. Kimmy has invited almost all the girls to a soap making class so they can hang out, spend some more time with one another. But Kimmy talks about whenever she invites somebody, there's always one person missing. When the ladies first hung out, Destiny wasn't there. Now it's a second hangout, Nell isn't there. But did you invite her, Kimmy? No, come to find out you didn't invite her. And the reason why you didn't invite her was because she was planning for the game night y'all was going to have later on. So why are you trying to make it seem as if nobody is available to hang out with you when you didn't even try to ask Nell if she wanted to come or not? You made a conscious decision to not invite her because you didn't want her there. Let's keep it a buck though, Kimmy. You don't like Nell, and you're just not standing on your feelings and being honest about how you just didn't want her to come. But Destiny wants to start mess by saying that she didn't think Nell was going to come because Tisha was there. Who the fuck is Tisha? Nell ain't afraid of Tisha. Now, what's shown to me is that these ladies are just now hanging out with each other because they've had a lot of separate instances since Trisha's birthday. So they've never had enough time to hang out with one another. So there's a lot of repeat conversations that we had already watched. The ladies are just now finally having a conversation to talk about it. Because they're bringing up who's going to the event. Everybody's going. It's a cast event. Everybody's going to be there. Kimmy want to start mess by asking if Lance is going to be there. And did Destiny and Lance have a conversation? So in the midst of that, Tisha want to make a joke about, is Destiny going to be a stepmom? She says no. But we did have a conversation about how I felt that I didn't know he was going to have a baby until the internet told me. And Lance pretty much held himself accountable as to why he didn't tell her, and the reason why he didn't tell her because he wasn't sure until the very last moment. Then we talk about she didn't like the googly eye comment that he threw at her when her security guard, Twan, was there. Come to find out that was his god brother. Destiny didn't know that was his god brother. But hearing that news, everybody was shocked and surprised. Kimmy is in her confessional saying that it is funny that Destiny found out that Twan was Lance's godbrother, but she don't think it has any relevancy on what Destiny's going to do about it because she said the rules tend to change when it comes to Destiny. In a nutshell, that's reading to me that you guys know how Destiny operates. Y'all know how she moves and y'all feel no ways about it. Y'all are going to allow her to make a fool out of herself, not tell her this isn't right, this isn't cool, and enjoy watching her make a fool out of herself. Destiny, these people are not your friends. They look at you as a joke. Moving on. Destiny goes on to telling them that Lance blessed the situation if Twan and Destiny was to ever move forward and get to know one another and potentially date. But wanted to talk to his mom about how she felt about it, and Nell felt triggered about it. But before that, Tisha told Destiny that they left the reunion because they found out about the baby. Destiny repeats when she had a conversation with Nell that wasn't the reason. So they had a back and forth about whether or not Nell told the truth as to why they left the reunion early. I honestly don't care that y'all are trying to dissect whether or not Nell told the truth or not. Yes, we know Nell told y'all, but why y'all trying to decipher whether or not it's the truth? I don't care why Nell and Chris left the reunion early. It's none of y'all fucking business. It's really none of y'all concern to dissect whether or not it's the truth. It has nothing to do with neither one of y'all. So Destiny, I think, is adding shit that I don't think Nell tells her because I don't know why she's telling the girls about the due date of the baby. Like the baby was either born in October or November. Girl, that is nothing worth mentioning. Why are you telling them that? That is none of their business to know. I don't know why we keep on mentioning the child. Like, this is not a topic of discussion. We need to move on and talk about something else. So that's when Destiny decides to tell Tisha that Nell tells her Tisha needs to mind her motherfucking business and keep my name out of her motherfucking mouth. Now here go Tisha looking lost and confused as if she was told something so horrific. Oh my God, what did I do? Why are you telling me that? And then she brings up the NDA and how they already had a conversation, and it was a conversation that didn't go anywhere because Tisha didn't want to be held accountable for the way that she acted by approaching Chris about the NDA. And knowing that this all happened at the beginning of the season, because we're still in the beginning of the season, but they're just now having a conversation about it because the order of the conversations are getting so confusing, and I don't know why. Is it because you're trying to keep Destiny up to speed? Because why are we having the same conversation all over again? Trish mentioned she had a conversation with Nell as well about how she didn't like that you came into her husband's face. And yes, Tisha did mention the conversation, but to say that Nell wants to have a problem with her, no, she don't want to have a problem with you. She was calling you out on some shit you didn't want to talk about because remember, at Trisha's party, they shut down the interview conversation. But then y'all want to turn it against her and bring up, why did you leave the reunion early? Like, it's all confusing right here. And then Kimmy's looking lost and confused about how can we have a conversation and we're thinking everything is cool and now we have another problem. No. There's no problem. Y'all are trying to make a problem because all of y'all had separate conversations with Nell that you guys are definitely using out of order to create another issue, and it's annoying the fuck out of me, okay? Y'all are trying to make it seem as if Nell is not trying to move forward. She is trying to live in the past. She's not letting things go. No, it's the four of you bitches that keep on repeating the same shit all over again, and y'all have the same issue that y'all don't want to let go, okay? So they were like, how did the order of the conversations go? I don't care how the order of the conversations go. Because to be honest, this is what I can recall. Trish had a conversation with Nell first. That was after the party. Her venting her feelings about how Tisha acted at the party. She speaks to Tisha. Tisha didn't want to be held accountable. Tisha deflected and ran off from being held accountable. Then she had a conversation with Destiny about how she felt about it. That's how the order of event came. And now you guys are all meeting up and are discussing what y'all heard, but you guys are not using your critical thinking skills and really listening to what exactly Nell is saying to make it seem as if Nell is just having a problem with everybody. Nell is just mad. She don't want to let things go. She just keeps on talking about the same shit when y'all are talking about the same shit. Oh my God, I can't. Tisha talking about she gave Nell a lot of grace. What grace have you been giving her? You've been receiving a lot of grace that you definitely don't deserve. Like, at the end of the day, this whole scene really annoyed the fuck out of me because nothing was said. All y'all did was just talk about Nell the entire time. So now we get into Nell and their game night. They called it the Flextivities, kind of like a cute play on words. And they had a cute event space rented. They had tables set up for where they're going to play all kind of games. Kimmy and Maurice were the first to arrive. Then we see Trish and Ken follow behind them. And then Trish was being very passive aggressive when she said, oh, we're just going to have a lot of balls today, aren't we? Because there was a game about a cup and a ball in front of them. But Trish was also trying to make an issue with calling out that Nell missed out on making bath bombs with them. So when Nell heard it, she said, balls? What balls? Am I missing something? And Trish, if you're going to feel some type of way about something, then say it with your whole chest. Don't be passive aggressive and say little subtle digs. Like, this is the thing I'm telling y'all. Trish is a follower. Trish doesn't have her own mind. She has no opinions about anything. She takes everybody else's opinions, copies it, and acts on it. Because for Kimmy to tell Nell, well, you didn't come to hang out with us, so we figured you didn't want to come because you were planning for the event. But you never gave her the opportunity to say yes or no, Kimmy. You made a decision to not invite her. So because you made a decision not to invite her, you have no right to question her as to why she missed out on hanging out with y'all because you never wanted to invite her in the first place. Wait, so Kimmy, you gonna need to be upfront and honest as to why you didn't want to invite Nell in the first place. Say it with your whole chest, okay? Be real, be transparent, be communicative. Remember, Kimmy, you used to be the greatest communicator on the show. Now all of a sudden you just lost that trait. You lost that power, and I don't know why. So for you to want to like dance around the reason why you didn't want to invite Nell is crazy to me because I think you're still mad about how Nell checked your ass last season. When y'all were in St. Thomas, when you and Kimmy when you and Tisha were complaining about your rooms, and she told you to pretty much grow the fuck up and accept that you got a room, period, point blank. So everybody is arriving, they're eating, and they're wondering, where is Lance, where's Destiny, could they be coming together? Everybody, especially Maurice, was so concerned about how Destiny and Lance were going to be around one another. Why do you care? But Nell said, listen, they had a conversation. They're just friends. It's all fine. It's all good. Then there was a moment where Martell wanted someone to notice him wearing a hoodie with the bird on it. And the picture that he had on the hoodie was when they were at the Polo Classic. That's the only picture you have of the bird? You don't have no other picture of her? Sad. He said, I wasn't trying to hide or anything. I'll be happy to showcase it. Well, you had it zipped up until someone said something. And that's pretty much what you wanted, was somebody to say something. If nobody mentioned that Martell was wearing the bird on his hoodie, he wasn't going to say anything about it. So I guess this was a bait to let us know that Ariel's gonna make her debut because she's been talking about how she's gonna be on the show. Was this her saying she's on the show? I mean, she got mad about her voice. Now your face is on the show. We're just not seeing you in person. Good job, girl. You have made your debut on the show. To be honest, that's fucking sad. You did all of this with this man, and this man still doesn't figure out a way to claim you. He still don't figure out a way to put you on the show. Sad, sad, sad. Then we see Destiny walk in with Will. Awkward, because how did this come about? You just had a conversation about seeing if you can make it a situation between you and Twan, but you walk in with Ken's best friend. Apparently, Will DM'd her and asked her out. She said, cool, you want to come to the game night with me? Now, she knew that everybody was going to be gossiping about her and everything, but she said, let them talk. I'm grown. I'm single. I can do what I want to do. You are absolutely right, Destiny. You are grown. You can do what you want to do. You're single. You did tell Twan you are actively dating multiple people and you want somebody to recognize where you're at while dating. There's nothing wrong with that, but the optics of it doesn't make you look good in my opinion. It's looking like you're a hoe. And the rest of these people are going to seriously look at you like you're a hoe. They're going to laugh in your face. They're going to snicker behind your back and in your face about the whole situation. And listen, women can date multiple men at a time and not have nothing to do with them. They are not intimate with them by any means, right? But in your case, Destiny, I don't put it past you. That's just me, in my opinion, based off of how you went about it. And it's just like there are no other available men in Alabama you could have brought to the event. You just had to bring somebody that's close to the friend group. Like, do you have to date within the friend group? It's just odd. It doesn't make you look good, in my opinion. And moving on from there, Lance ends up bringing a date. She was a pretty girl, but I don't think her outfit was the right attire for this event. And everybody is making it extremely awkward of seeing Lance and Destiny come into the room with two different people. Lance did expect for Destiny to bring a date because he assumed that she would have brought Twan because that's who you've been talking about. How come you talked about Twan, but then you brought Will? So he said it's an issue, but it's not an issue. It's not bothering him like that. Maybe it's because of the fact that Lance really did like Destiny. And he probably wanted to see if there was something between them. But I guess to see the way she can just get over it and move on, it's like, oh, word. So what the hell you giving me flack for when you could easily bring somebody else in without a care in the world? And as usual, Destiny feels some type of way as well. Then to say that Lance being a lover boy, he's going to always have a woman. So she expected for him to have a woman. But at the end of the day, both of y'all don't have a right to feel no way about nothing because y'all weren't even in an exclusive relationship. Y'all were just figuring things out and to see if y'all can have a romantic relationship outside of y'all being friends. So Destiny, get out of your fucking feelings, and Lance, let it go. So while they were playing their games, it did look fun. The musical spoons was very interesting because people be sabotaging and cheating when it comes to musical chairs, right? And then we end up seeing Martell and Marceau the last to get the last spoon. Martell won. Marceau put out an extra spoon as he grabbed it like he won. Marceau, you're a cheater. Good night. And yeah, everybody thought it was cool to see Martell and Marceau be cordial on one another. And, you know, maybe it's bringing the old feeling back all over again. And while they want to be like, yeah, we're taking the leap on being cool and cordial, we just got to be sure that our significant others will do the same, right? So Kimmy is with the girls, telling them that she spoke to Neil about how they had a little outing before they came to the event. And she's trying to make it sound like Neil feels a way about how they did it without her. But you did do it without her, Kimmy. You did not invite her, Kimmy. You didn't want her there. You assumed she couldn't come because she was preparing for the event. So, of course, Neil has a right to feel a way about how y'all hung out without her. Now she wants to put Tisha on the spot to have a conversation. And Tisha said, we don't need to have a conversation. It is mighty funny, though, that Tisha would be the main one discussing the opportunity to have a conversation, but now she wants to run from a conversation because while they did have a conversation, nothing got resolved. She walked away because things didn't go her way because she didn't want to be held accountable and she didn't apologize. Behind them, Nell is getting to know Lance's date. Apparently, Lance's date was one of Nell's children that was going to her daycare center around, 30 years ago? Back with the ladies. Tisha want to act confused about how we're back into this space when we already had a conversation. The conversation, to me, though, Tisha, really didn't get resolved because you didn't want to be held accountable. You didn't apologize. I think Nell just took it for what you wanted to give her and left it at that. She recognized how you felt, but you didn't want to recognize how she felt. Destiny now want to say maybe Nell miscommunicated what she meant. No, she didn't. She said exactly what she said. But my thing is this, we're not getting the full conversation. You guys are only getting a parcel of what Tisha wanted to tell y'all because Tisha doesn't want to be accountable about how she acted in that conversation. Tisha don't want to reveal on what she spoke about in that conversation. Because you guys are only seeing Nell being the problem as if Tisha isn't the problem. As if Tisha isn't the type of person that doesn't know how to be accountable, that doesn't really apologize for anything. And she adds situations that are not even included in the conversation and then looks dumbfounded when somebody checks her on it. Now Kimmy wants to talk to Nell and say Tisha's outside and she says we have to talk about some things. And Kimmy is not being clear about what it is she wants her to talk about. Like she's pretty much saying the chain of events are not being clear. We're still having the same issue. We're wondering how we get to this point. And then Kimmy brought up that Destiny told Tisha about Nell telling Tisha to keep my name out of her motherfucking mouth. Is that what you told her? She said, I did say that. Here go Kimmy. That's kind of tough. That's not tough. That's Nell setting a boundary. If we're going to move forward, this is the one thing I don't want to talk about. So I told Destiny that Tisha needs to keep my family's name out of her motherfucking mouth, period, point blank. Now, Kimmy's in her confessional talking about how nobody is interested in moving forward. That's not the case, though, Kimmy. Y'all not trying to really move forward. Y'all want to stay in this space because y'all don't have nothing to talk about. You really are trying to pan off as if Nell is the reason why y'all can't move forward. Y'all are literally trying to pinpoint every single thing that Nell has said and done when it's not even that big of a deal. As if Nell's having a hard time moving forward with y'all, and that's not the case. So again, Kim is acting like she don't understand the context about how we got to this point. So let's talk about it. Like, I'll go with you. I'll go with you to talk about it. Let's go. I'll go with you. It's giving setup. It's giving these ladies want to confront Nell as if she's not being real, she's not being transparent, when it's a complete opposite. While Nell and Chris have not been my favorites in the last couple of seasons of being on this show, they are the most genuine and the most authentic people on this cast versus everybody else. The one thing they don't want to talk about is something that y'all shouldn't be confused about, because they talk about more stuff than y'all do. And then Nell said, listen, I can be cordial with anybody, but I'm okay where I'm at. Kimmy want to know why, and then she convinced her to go outside. Listen, the way that Nell was so disinterested and annoyed that Kimmy is coming at her about this shit, because it's kind of like, Kimmy, read the fucking room. You already annoyed Nell when you didn't invite her to hang out with y'all, and now you want her to have the same conversation with Tisha all over again? Like, what the fuck is this? I don't want to talk about it. Why we gotta talk about this? So we're back with the fellas. Will wanted to know, how does everybody know Destiny? Martell says she's a wholesome girl. That's not what Will wanted to hear. Will wanted to know, is she down for the cause tonight? Because she got 24 hours to prove her worth. Everybody laughed, including Martell. And he said, oh, that's what you wanted to know? Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Like, that wasn't cool for neither one of these men to laugh about another woman being treated like that. That she's literally just a conquest. She's just another notch in his belt. And for Martell, who knows Destiny the longest, is laughing at somebody looking at her in that way. This is the reason why Martell and Destiny are friends. Because Destiny will laugh at Martell being called out for being a hoe, and she ain't gonna say shit about it. She gonna still defend his wrongdoings, and Martell gonna defend Destiny's wrongdoings. So Destiny, please be mindful of the company that you keep, but then it's vice versa. People need to be mindful of the company you bring around. Crazy, crazy. The only person who didn't like what was said was Lance. Lance said in his confessional, that's pretty fucked up. I disagree with having to tear a woman down in that way, and I have to agree because Will, what is your thought process on this, okay? Because after all this time, this is the first thing you want to give off an impression of you being around this group, and you talk about a woman like this. Now, I don't really fool with Destiny, but as a woman, I wouldn't want nobody to talk about me in that way. And I wish that somebody other than Lance would have spoken up and says, don't talk about my friend like that. My friend is a cool person. She's sweet. She's kind. Don't do that. I don't like that. Don't bring that around me. None of that happened. So he said, I didn't know how good she looked until she wore that bodysuit. Whatever. As usual, the Scott brothers want to be messy. They want to add their little digs here and there, trying to get shit started. Wondering about Lance and Will. Do they know each other? Are they aware of what's been going on? About how Lance got involved with Destiny? And he's like, are you good? Are you guys good? Will don't know Lance. Lance don't know Will. They've never really had no words with each other. So why y'all trying to make it seem as if it's a bigger triangle happening between them when it's not? Lance said, I'm good. Destiny can date whoever she want to date. It's over and done with me and her. Will didn't know none of what Lance and Destiny had going on, which is why Marcel and Maurice wanted to make it a problem. They wanted to insinuate something. Now, Maurice said, you're pretty tall to not know you were a rebound. You're both for that, Maurice. Now, Ken knows Will, and he does know that Will isn't necessarily the type of guy to be the rebound. And that maybe Destiny's looking for a fun time, but don't think you're going to get what you're going to get out of Will. Basically saying Will going to probably treat you worse than Destiny will ever treat him, basically. Be mindful when you get involved with a guy like Will. It's basically what Ken is saying. So we're back outside. Kimmy want to get shit started because she's wondering how it went from us having a cool conversation and everything was working well to us now being back to a not so good place. Tisha want to bring up when she met up with Destiny and asked Destiny to talk about what she told her. My thing is this though, Tisha. If you already know what happened between your conversation with Destiny, then address it to Nell. Because you're asking Destiny to repeat on what you already know is some cowardly shit. Nell is right there. You can ask her straight up, why did you feel some type of way about me repeating to Destiny that this is the reason why you left LA early? But no, Tisha don't want to do that because she's a scary ass bitch. She needs an audience. She needs other people to speak on her behalf and defend her battles because she can never address any issues on her own. So, yes, Destiny said this is what Nell told me because y'all had to leave to be there for the delivery of the baby. But then it led to Nell telling Destiny to tell Tisha to keep my name out of your motherfucking mouth. So Tisha want to ask Nell directly, why did they leave LA early? Nell said it's none of your business. I don't have to tell you anything. Now, since Tisha is not getting what she wants, now she wants to say that Nell's giving her attitude. This is the moment where the gaslighting starts. Because we already had this conversation. I'm not going back to this rabbit hole again. Like, Nell is clocking that Tisha's trying to get a rise out of her and she's not falling for it. Now, Tisha want to be dramatic and say, here she is. She wants to backtrack and she's not saying what she said. She's not repeating what she told Destiny. She said, my granddaughter is off limits, period, point blank. You know, Tisha want to overtalk her, and she brought Kimmy into the mix to say, didn't she tell us that she had to go back home to be there for the delivery of the baby? Didn't she say that? Kimmy repeated what was said, and then the flashback of Nell telling them that they were told by Lance that he had a baby on the way, and that's why they had to leave. But I don't fucking care. I don't care about why y'all are trying to hold this over Nell's head, because what does this have to do with you? It don't. Y'all weren't affected by her leaving the reunion early. I remember seeing Nell stay throughout the entirety of the reunion. So if she left early, who the fuck cares? She never went any details about how it happened. I think y'all are adding too much smoke on it. Because she said, I'm not talking about this, so stop bringing it up. I think Tisha wanted to come out and say that she's not caring about her granddaughter. And that right there should have caused you to get your ass fucking beat. Because don't say you don't care about my granddaughter. How fucking dare you? So stop right there. We ain't got to say nothing no more, because how you want to call out for Nell being disrespectful when you just said you don't care about her granddaughter? See, this is a part of the gaslighting, and this is a part of the double standard, because how y'all want to minimize what Tisha said but come at Nell? That's worse than what Nell did, because what Nell did didn't affect none of y'all. But what Tisha said definitely affected Nell and hurt her feelings. And we know Tisha never thinks before she speaks, and she never thinks she says anything out of pocket, anything that's hurtful. But you bringing up her granddaughter like this is hurtful. Now, I don't think you're meant to discuss her granddaughter in that way. I don't think you meant to talk about her granddaughter in that way. But you keep on bringing up how she was brought into this world. You keep on bringing up her delivery, how the reason why Nell and Chris left the reunion was to be there for her birth. And if she's telling you to stop talking about it, then stop talking about it. And why are you taking offense at somebody saying, keep my name out of your motherfucking mouth? It is an old term that plenty of people have used, but you're having a hard time operating on it like you're not supposed to be told this. It's crazy to me. This whole exchange was disgusting. It was horrible. Now, Tisha wants to flip it and say Nell was cussing at her when she told Destiny that statement, and she wasn't really cussing at you. Now you end up cussing at Nell to purposefully be disrespectful. And Tisha's in her confessional talking about, Nell, you the one who told me this, and I didn't even want to know about it. I don't care to know about it. The lies you fucking tell. Tisha, when y'all all met up to give updates about what was going on, y'all wanted to know whether or not it was true about Lance having a baby on Destiny. And Nell told y'all, because what is the purpose of this? Are you trying to defend Destiny and still call out Nell because Nell never told Destiny about what Lance had going on? It wasn't Nell's place to tell Destiny anything. Destiny and Lance's relationship was over and done by the time this news got revealed. So what is the purpose of you bringing this up again? Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. And Tisha, stop assuming things that people don't tell you without being prompted, because you do be wanting to know other people's situations. You do be wanting to get involved in other people's situations, but want nobody else to get involved in your situation. Don't want nobody else to mention anything about what you got going on. Fine, whatever. And this entire scene was pretty much a reflection about what we see Tisha and Kimmy go through, because the way that they tried to gaslight Nell was a way that their husbands have gaslighted them. Whenever they ask their husbands direct questions, they make them feel guilty. They make them feel stupid for asking them. And they're trying to get the same exact results out of Nell, and Nell's not falling for that. So take it up with your husbands about how they treat y'all. Don't treat Nell the way your husbands treat you. And I don't give a rat's ass about what Tisha's trying to sell me, that she really is trying to be cool with Nell. You're not trying to be cool with Nell. No. You're trying to have a beef with her over some stupid shit, and Nell is calling it out. You're trying to have beef with her, and she doesn't know why, because you want to tell Nell, just tell me why you feel this type of way. Just be honest and be truthful. How about you be honest and be truthful, Tisha? What is your real issue with Nell? Because I feel like you're the one with the issue, and you want everybody else to follow behind your reasoning, but you're not standing straight up and explaining what your issue is. But you want to question Nell about what is her real issue with you. She don't have one. She's just annoyed with you, okay? Destiny don't like how this is going. She wants Kimmy to be the mediator. No, Kimmy is a shit starter, okay? Because Kimmy wants to be literal. When she says, when I'm around a group of my friends and they say that they're good, they really aren't good. Kimmy, please go to hell. Because where was that rhetoric when people were asking you, are you good, when you didn't know what was going on when Maurice got a DUI? When you were asked and questioned and you got irritated, you were defensive, you were projecting because you really did not want to talk about what you didn't know about what was going on when Maurice got his DUI. And at the reunion, you showed your entire ass and questioned everybody else about why they asked you versus your husband, who you didn't know where the fuck he was. Okay, got it, moving on. Now, Kimmy is the one who's really getting hyped about why did Nell say, keep my name out your motherfucking mouth. Why are you bothered by that? And at that point, you saw how Tisha was completely mute the remainder of that conversation, because now that Kimmy has taken literally Tisha's problem with Nell, and she is now using it to her ability to come at Nell for Tisha. Tisha is now getting her problems being solved by everybody else, and she ain't got to get into the paint. She ain't got to address nothing for herself. No, she got everybody else fighting her battles for her. Typical Tisha. To find a reason why she said what she said is fucking irrelevant. Like, why are you acting lost if you don't understand why she said what she said? Because Nell is like, I'm not the only one that got problems. Why are we only talking about my problems? Everybody got their own problems, and everybody needs to be honest and upfront about their own shit. Now they want to say Nell is yelling. Nell wasn't yelling. Now, Nell has a loud voice just for having a loud voice because she is small, but she's mighty. All of y'all were yelling, and Nell was meeting y'all at an even tone, and y'all couldn't take it. Y'all want to reprimand her for getting loud when y'all was getting loud with her. Again, continuing to gaslight, continuing to control Nell how she responds with the way she's being treated. She does feel like it's a gang up. Now, Tisha want to be overly dramatic and say, oh God, here's a victim, here's a victim. Sit your ass down, Tisha, because you're the one starting shit, and you don't like being called out because you're receiving the exact same energy that you're giving, okay? And she specifically called out Tisha and Kimmy. Scott 1.0 and Scott 2.0. Because y'all ganging up on her, y'all tag teaming her because y'all don't like the way she's addressing y'all, but she's responding with the way you guys are coming at her. Make it make sense. Then Kimmy want to say, listen, Nell, if you keep hollering at me, I'm going to jump your ass in that pool. Oh, them fighting words, Kimmy, as if you don't know. Now, Nell said, first of all, you're not going to dump me no motherfucking where. I wish the fuck you would, because you're going to be the one dumped in that pool before me. I can guarantee you that. And then we see Destiny rush to remove Nell. Trish rushing to remove Kimmy. Where was Tisha? Sitting down, watching the whole thing because she didn't want to be included in it, but she wanted to be there to orchestrate everything because this is exactly what she wanted. She wanted a big moment to have Nell look like the fool because all she wanted to do was have a conversation, and Nell was pretty much fighting to have the conversation, not trying to listen, not trying to be held accountable. No. Y'all literally wanted a moment out of Nell, and y'all got it, but I clocked how y'all set this up, okay? Now, I don't know what Kimmy thought, that if you tell somebody you're going to dump their ass in the pool, that nobody would have felt like that's some fighting words, that you want to get in the paint. You want to fight? You feeling froggy, bitch? Let's go. Don't know how you looking lost and confused about saying that. And I don't know what we're not seeing from what everything just happened. Y'all did all of this just to get a rise out of Nell. And Kimmy was like, do you not hear how you're yelling at me? Why do you talk like that? Kimmy, you're yelling too. And Nell said, I'm not the only one yelling. It takes two to yell. Like, what the fuck? Now, we see the guys all trying to remove the ladies, and they're trying to calm things down. Because let's not forget, Kimmy, you literally gave Nell a reason to feel away because you did not invite her to the hangout. Make it make sense. So why are you looking lost and confused about why she has this energy towards you? And she called out about how you was going back and forth with her. And she said, I never expected this energy from you. Why are you giving me all of this fever? For what? What did I do to you? So everybody goes back inside. Things have calmed down. Kimmy talks about how she has a short fuse than other people. She gives us the backstory in her confessional as to why she has this fuse, because her father was an angry drunk. He was abusive to her mother, so she felt the need to be her mother's protector. Normally, Kimmy, I would have given you that had you said that in the earlier stages of this show where you have been involved in altercations and arguments, but you haven't. So you want to use this moment to talk about a sad story that I'm going to call cap and bullshit on, because where the hell was that when you were arguing with Wanda? Where was that when you were arguing with Tisha? Where was that when you seen Martell yell at Melody? Where was that when you saw the guys arguing? Where was that when you saw Stormy and Destiny get into it? Where was that? Where was that fear of not liking yelling when it been other instances where you have been involved in seeing other people yell? And talking about this short fuse, where the hell was that short fuse when your husband said you took it like a champion of having uncomfortable sex with him while going through cancer treatments? Where was that fuse when he pretty much said your lack of libido was all in your head? Where was that fuse when he told you he wanted to have sex multiple times in a day? Where was that fuse when you were aware of him mistreating your son? Where was the fuse? I didn't see the fuse. But you want to feel sympathy because you got involved in an altercation that had nothing to do with you, and you want us to feel sorry for you. No, I don't. Fuck you, go to hell. So Kimmy apologizes for saying she was going to dump her in the pool. However, as Kimmy would do, she don't like the hollering thing. She don't like the yelling thing. Y'all have been around Nell for quite some time now. Y'all know she loud. Y'all know she has a loud voice. This is not new for y'all. But because y'all seen Nell yell at other people, y'all didn't find it an issue. But now that she yelled at y'all, oh, I don't like it. Oh, please don't yell at me. I don't like that. Fuck out of here with that shit. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Who's next? But Nell accepts her apology. She said, I'm sorry if I yelled at you. Now, Tisha over there in the corner, because she's a scary little bitch, to say it's going to be a cold day in hell if she ever was to apologize to Nell. To be honest, though, Tisha, you're the one who owes her an apology. Nell don't owe you shit. And as far as you saying you're not going to apologize to her, you're not going to want nothing from her, okay, well, then stay in your lane. Don't want anything from Nell. Don't expect anything from Nell if you don't want nobody else to question you about the shit you don't want to bring up, okay? Fuck out of here. You want to keep bringing up her business behind her back, but then question as to why she's not talking about it. Fuck you, Tisha. And that was pretty much in the episode. I don't have nothing else because the entire episode was only 3 scenes. Trish, Kimmy, and Nell. And it was pretty much of nothing. And we now are still at the beginning of the season. We got more episodes to go. I don't know how we're going to get through this season because y'all have nothing else to bring. Y'all have nothing else to talk about, which is really fucking sad that we spend majority of the episode questioning Nell about whether or not she lied about leaving the reunion early. It's dumb. It's stupid. But anyway, that's it. That's it. That's all I have. I have nothing else. Please stay tuned for my next video. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.